Welcome back to Elevation Perspective. My name is Mark. Today we are talking about the Philadelphia Phillies. Last night, the Phillies saw another great regular season end in failure as they lost in the division series in 4 games to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Back-to-back 95-plus win seasons, back-to-back National League East titles, and back-to-back years getting bounced in the divisional series. The Phillies have had 7 years of prime Bryce Harper with consistently one of the top payrolls in all of baseball, and they have 1 World Series loss to show for it. At some point, the Phillies front office needs to look at this core and say we need to make significant changes. The regular season success is not translating to the postseason play. I watched a majority of this Phillies-Dodgers series. My biggest takeaway was the Phillies have nobody behind their big three of Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, and Bryce Harper. It felt like the Dodgers had 2 out of every 3 innings off from a pitching standpoint. Alec Boehm batting 4, he's just kind of a league average singles hitter. Brandon Marsh with 11 home runs in the 5 spot. Realmuto 6 is fine, but he's not scary at this stage of his career. Max Kepler 7 hit .216. Nick Castellanos 8, he basically lost his job and a lot of his baseball ability in 2025. And Stott batting 9, who's mostly a .250 singles hitter. This is not a championship caliber lineup. It clearly works in the regular season. We saw the evidence the last 2 years, but these fringy guys don't play against the best pitching opposing playoff teams have to offer. I do understand the offense is not the strength of this team. This team has excelled with their starting rotation, but you can't have 6 outs in October. I think this Phillies team seriously needs a shakeup. You're locked into Bryce Harper and Trey Turner. Those guys aren't the type of players you want to move on from anyway. It's the supporting cast around these stars that needs an overhaul, in my opinion. Dave Dombrowski and his front office do have some big decisions to make this offseason just on 3 huge pieces from this roster on expiring contracts. Kyle Schwarber is set to hit free agency coming off a National League leading 56 home runs. Schwarber's free agency should be fascinating. We haven't really seen many elite DHs hit the market like this in a long time. He's 33 years old. I'd imagine he gets a 4 or a 5-year deal in the open market for a very high AAV. Next guy, Ranger Suarez, has been a really reliable, consistent starting pitcher for the Phillies for the last 8 years. Ranger has a 3.38 ERA in 187 career games. He's 30 years old, and he's looking to get a massive payday on the open market. He also became incredibly more important to the Phillies with the loss of Zach Wheeler, the team's ace, who will likely miss all of the 2026 season. And the third free agent is JT Realmuto, the catcher and the on-the-field leader for this Phillies team for the last 7 years. Realmuto hit .265 with a .778 OPS in his time with Philly. He has been one of the best catchers in the league throughout the duration of his career. He will be 35 years old at the time of opening day, not the same player he once was, but he still contributes. I would think Realmuto is the most likely of these 3 players to return to Philadelphia. The Phillies are raised with that difficult question here many teams do face when the season ends in disappointment with valuable impending free agents. That question is, are we going to spend an immense amount of money to put the same or similar team back together that just failed us? What I've been harping on pretty much all video here, it feels like to me, from a lineup perspective, this team needs to not only bring back Kyle Schwarber, but also add another big bat with him. I'm not sure if this team is prepared to shop in the Kyle Tucker market, who's probably looking at a massive deal in the $400 million neighborhood. I could see them going after divisional rival Pete Alonso either as a designated hitter or with the idea of putting Bryce Harper back in the outfield. I think they'll be involved with Alex Bregman, Cody Bellinger. I expect them to be basically involved with every single hitter on the market, especially if they can't retain Kyle Schwarber. On the pitching side of things, they look okay but need some additional depth like most, if not all, teams do. As I previously mentioned, Zach Wheeler is out for likely the entire 2026 season. The new ace of this team, Christopher Sanchez, is elite. He's emerged as a true number 1 in the game. Jesus Luzardo enjoyed a really strong campaign and is a really solid number 2 starter. Aaron Nola was awful, but he's a veteran arm who's been mostly reliable throughout his Phillies career, and he still owed a lot of money in years. Taijuan Walker still has 1 year and $18 million left, so he'll probably be in this rotation. I'm sure they want top prospect Andrew Painter to take a rotation spot, although he had a pretty poor season in 2025. I think they definitely need to add 1 reliable starter. It's pretty messy after the first 2 guys. That additional arm the Phillies should bring in could be a return of Ranger Suarez or another starting pitcher option. The bullpen looks okay going into 2026. They did well adding Joan Duran. He's elite with years of control. After him, I don't love Orion Kirkring or Matt Strahm, but they're solid enough. I think this team would really benefit in a big way by adding another elite high-leverage reliever to pair with Duran in the back end of games. In terms of the roster with the players still under contract, I think the Phillies would really love to move on from Nick Castellanos. There's been some public comments by Castellanos about the manager Rob Thompson's lack of communication. They would have to eat a good amount of Castellanos' 1 year, $20 million remaining on that contract to be able to move him, though. He's one of the worst defensive outfielders in the league and had a sub 700 OPS in 2025. I think they would probably have to eat around 15 of the 20 million to get a team to take him. Guys like Bohm and Marsh are fine, but they need to be your bottom of the order options, not your 4 and 5 hitters. The reality of this situation is they probably need to bring back Kyle Schwarber, Ranger Suarez, and JT Realmuto, in addition to a Kyle Tucker, Pete Alonso type of bat, with another additional more competent batter than they've been throwing out there, and a high leverage reliever for good measure. Maybe some people feel I am overreacting. After all, the playoffs in baseball are usually pretty random. The best teams usually do not win. My biggest retort or counter to anyone who is pro-Phillies in this conversation is you simply cannot look at this lineup and tell yourself this is a championship caliber team. They can win all the regular season games they want, but in the end, October is what matters. Overall, I don't believe the Phillies will do anything drastic this offseason like trade Bryce Harper, but maybe a manager change or a front office leadership change could do some good for this team. And that's the video. The Phillies will be a very fun, interesting team to watch and monitor this offseason. There is a chance they look very different in 2026. If you like this video, please hit subscribe. Hopefully everyone has a great day, and thank you so much for watching.